Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
Oh no!
When the heat rises, the truth has nowhere to hide, and Joe Rogan isn't buying the fairy tale version of Michelle Obama. He cuts through the polished PR image, points out every contradiction, and pulls back the curtain on a carefully staged legacy everyone was told to admire. From high-end living dressed up as struggle to empowerment packaged for sale, nothing escapes his scrutiny. This isn't polite applause pretending to be critique. It's a raw, unapologetic breakdown of a myth America was pushed to accept without a single question. Michelle Obama was framed as the most relatable figure, yet lives a life 99% of people could never reach.
Is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people.
One moment she's the Harvard Law graduate, the next she's the face of kale chips, designer yoga wear, and sneakers that cost more than most people earn in a week, all while preaching sacrifice to the public. Rogan didn't need a warm-up for this. He went straight in, calling out the surreal contrast of someone relaxing in Martha's Vineyard year after year, while telling working mothers to pack carrot sticks and meditate their way through 2 jobs and rising prices. If this video hits home, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Then she took the First Lady spotlight and turned it into a luxury lifestyle brand, quietly suggesting that enlightenment comes with a private chef, a security detail, and a helicopter on standby. Joe Rogan nearly lost it at the irony. This is the same person who turned the White House garden into a personal photo backdrop while lecturing the country about childhood obesity.
Almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
If you are enjoying this takedown, please hit that subscribe button. While big tech and the media kept feeding the public non-stop feel-good illusions, the only thing getting thinner was the truth. Then came that moment, the line she's famous for. When they go low, we go high. Everyone remembers how it was delivered and exactly what it was meant to signal. Joe tore that slogan apart like wilted lettuce. Behind the scenes, Michelle was playing political dodgeball at an elite level, tossing subtle shots while wearing a smile polished enough to mask quiet digs and calculated victimhood. The image looked flawless on the surface, but underneath it was another tightly scripted, tone-deaf display of high-class hypocrisy. She had a way of turning every moment into a lesson. And those lessons always seemed to remind the rest of us exactly where we stood. Every line dripped with moral superiority, like an endless TED Talk no one asked for, filmed in spaces that felt safe, staged, and far removed from real life. Rogan didn't miss a beat pointing out how someone who claimed to speak for the people somehow always ended up talking at them, and that so-called empowerment came bundled with merchandise, a podcast, a documentary, and a Netflix deal, because nothing says authenticity like a multi-million-dollar media empire built on curated struggles and perfectly filtered memories. And then came the school lunch crusade.
Or the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know.
A whole generation still flinches at the memory of mushy broccoli blobs and cardboard-style chicken nuggets. Michelle promised healthier meals, but what kids got instead felt like cafeteria punishment. Joe Rogan couldn't help laughing at the idea of government-run nutrition plans. It wasn't just flavor that vanished. Common sense disappeared too, bulldozed by a mission that confused control with real care. Then came her autobiography, landing like a tidal wave of self-celebration. Every chapter read like a shrine, each line soaked in rehearsed struggle, timed perfectly to pull maximum sympathy and non-stop media praise. Rogan went after that hard, because when Michelle Obama left the White House, she didn't step back. She stepped onto a throne built from admiration, memoir sales, and unchecked influence. She lingered as a shadow of the administration, reappearing in headlines, speaking from the sidelines like royalty that never truly gave up the crown. Rogan sliced through that polished image faster than a jiu-jitsu takedown. This wasn't post-White House humility. It was a full-scale media push, wrapped in soft pastels and pearl necklaces.
Her husband's riches, they're definitely billionaires by now. The house in Martha's Vineyard, which is, I think, $20 million out on the yachts of David. What happened to me? Why doesn't anyone think about what happened to me during my... I'm enraged. I'm almost speechless at how ridiculously out of touch this person.
And then came the identity politics parade she helped supercharge. Michelle Obama didn't just join it, she led it. Suddenly, every topic turned into a lecture on race, gender, and emotions. Joe Rogan tore through that narrative like a storm ripping apart a flimsy prop. Instead of lifting the conversation, she buried it under layers of passive-aggressive lectures and carefully timed outrage that felt rehearsed. The promise of unity vanished somewhere between another high-profile interview and the repeated reminders of how disappointing America supposedly was. Rogan pointed out that her version of empowerment always came with guilt attached, like inspiration wasn't allowed unless it came with a scolding. And if she truly disliked politics, why did she circle it nonstop? Why did every other speech, panel, or opinion piece feel like a soft launch for a campaign? Rogan didn't have to guess. The political play was obvious. She mastered the reluctant hero act like a chess player already planning the final move. And then there's the lineup of mansions, from DC to Martha's Vineyard, where the person claiming to understand middle America lives in places so exclusive most people couldn't even find them on Zillow.
2011 thing where Obama allowed people to use propaganda against United States citizens.
Hillary Clinton is and has been an outstanding public servant.
What was done then under Obama, effective repeal of it, was called the Smith Modernization Act.
She was a great Secretary of State for me.
At the time, the media and media control was seen as the linchpin crux of winning the Cold War, piping in pro-U.S. media influence.
The policy of my administration is to encourage transparency. Why my emails, the BlackBerry that I carry around, all those records are available.
Congress recognized the Frankensteinian monster they were creating by authorizing a covert, permanent Department of Dirty Tricks, and this is their phrase, not mine.
Hillary is instructed those emails that had to do with official business need to be disclosed.
To infiltrate and co-opt the universities, the unions, the media, the politicians, the judges, the whole swarm.
Joe couldn't help but laugh, because nothing screams down to earth like sweeping drone shots of your own private beach compound. All that was missing was a monocle and a butler strolling by with a basket of kale. Then came the endless complaints about how hard life was in the White House, and Joe torched that narrative without hesitation. She had glam teams on call, a personal gym steps away, and global admiration on a level most celebrities never reach, yet somehow managed to frame herself as the ultimate victim. There was no hardship there, just non-stop luxury, a media dream team, and probably the best lighting setup in presidential history. Then Joe landed the real punchline. Michelle's message boiled down to this: you can do anything unless you're not her. For all the talk about empowerment and representation, the door she claimed to open slammed shut right behind her, sealed with velvet ropes and guarded to make sure no one else slipped through. She wasn't building a ladder, she was polishing a pedestal, one selfie, one speech, one perfectly packaged moment at a time. And when it came to selective outrage, Joe went straight for it. She stayed quiet when speaking up might cost her, but the moment there was political value on the table, she became the loudest voice in the room. Pick any hot-button issue, free speech, education, borders, and watch how fast it dissolved into vague, feel-good lines and symbolic gestures that changed nothing. Joe didn't soften the blow. He called it what it was. Performative politics designed for applause, not results. Michelle wasn't chasing debate, she was chasing attention And the media kept serving it up like she was walking on water, never stopping to check how deep that water really was.
They gave that speech when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. And then they were, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan citizens.
Critics were treated like heretics, as if her words came down from the heavens instead of a polished brand team. Rogan wasn't buying the spiritual empowerment packaging. He saw a corporate product wrapped in inspirational quotes, pushed by people who avoided accountability but thrived on applause. Even the America's Mom image turned into a punchline, preaching resilience while insisting an entire generation was too broken to bounce back. And then came the kicker. Speeches about overcoming struggle delivered from inside a luxury hotel suite surrounded by a 10-person staff with a private jet waiting outside.
Where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists, saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen that last.
That's cognitive dissonance pushed to the extreme, and Joe turned every one of those contradictions into a punch sharp enough to cut stone. Now the quiet chatter about a Michelle 2028 run is growing louder, and even the suggestion sent Joe straight into full sarcasm. This is the same person who claims she wants privacy, yet shows up dancing at award shows, hosting multi-million-dollar podcasts, and rotating through every major talk show. That isn't reluctance, it's rehearsed resistance, a carefully timed pause before the next big move. And if you dare to question any of it, suddenly you're labeled sexist, racist, or too clueless to understand what's really going on.
J-Mo.
We have to have done Big Mike before.
I don't think we did
I
Big
don't know
Mike.
if we did. Tim Dillon definitely did.
We did Big Mike with Tim.
That Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe.
Michelle isn't some untouchable symbol of hope. She's a brand, and Joe ripped the label clean off. What's underneath isn't pure inspiration, it's ideology dressed in casual language, activism wrapped in sanctimony and motivation, delivered with an unspoken moral bill attached. She sold herself as a mirror for the nation, but the reflection staring back is carefully curated, polished, confident, and delivering a rehearsed TED-style lecture on why everyone else should try harder like her. The idea that she's the true voice of the people would be comedy gold if it weren't so precisely staged. Rogan didn't just reject the narrative, he dismantled the illusion piece by piece, exposing the wires, the gears, and the soft background music playing beneath a story edited to perfection. And the wild part is this still isn't the final chapter. Michelle keeps climbing, keeps stacking the empire, keeps cashing in on packaged outrage and neatly bottled nostalgia, but the shine is fading. The applause isn't as loud, the crowd is starting to squint, and Joe's roast is only warming up. Every stage she steps onto now feels like an award show where she's the only nominee. Endless applause for the same recycled wisdom, repackaged as if it were some divine revelation.
Kids, were they private or public? Like, when he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that
he was a senator, right?
Yes.
Before he became president.
For sure.
So went law school, Senate.
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you don't know what's going on there. because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
She glides in wrapped in designer humility, delivering life lessons that sound like they came straight from a fortune cookie, only rewritten by a motivational speaker with a full ghostwriting team. And still, the audience reacts like it's witnessing the second coming of Aristotle. Meanwhile, Rogan is busy peeling back the glossy layers, exposing little more than overpriced fluff sprayed with political perfume. Michelle has mastered the art of saying everything and nothing at the same time. In one breath, she tells people they're unstoppable. In the next, she reminds them they're trapped by forces beyond their control. It's motivational whiplash. She shifts from cheerleader of grit to soft-spoken messenger of defeat so smoothly you barely notice you've just been handed a sermon about surrender. Joe tore into that contradiction like a sloppy MMA mistake, pointing out how she praises strength while padding every struggle with excuses and trending hashtags. And of course, there's her signature status, the gold standard of selective vulnerability.
Run for president?
Yeah, I've heard you say I think Michelle should run.
She could win. She could win, I think. I think if she ran, she could win.
Do you ever run for office?
No.
I have to ask it.
No.
No kind of office.
No.
I don't think she wants that, though.
No,
I don't think
guess.
she wants that in her life.
Just-
The bull that they dealt with over the 8 years when he was president.
Because I've got these two young people at home. Being the kids, the daughters of a president, just think about it. Not so easy.
That job for anybody that really good at it.
Yeah, I trust the person who doesn't want the job more.
She talks about struggle with such polish you'd think Payne had a publicist on retainer. Every hardship sounds focus grouped, trimmed, and timed. Just raw enough to feel relatable, never raw enough to crack the myth. That isn't honesty. It's brand management tuned to a sympathetic key backed by a 7-figure royalty check. Behind the curtain, Joe called it for what it was. Less about being real, more about rehearsing realness until it sells. And even now, Michelle's narrative machine runs smoother, louder, and more insulated than ever.
Candid conversations with Tulsi Gabbard about what it was like.
It's a disservice to the American people that former President Obama's office and others who are criticizing the transparency that is being delivered by releasing these documents. They are doing a disservice to the American people and trying to deflect away from their culpability in what is a historic scandal.
She's a person, tries to be friends with everybody, tries to reach across the aisle. She's got that whole alone.
She didn't rise above politics. She packaged it, bottled it, and sold it to people who never thought to ask for a refund. But now the curtain is starting to lower. The act isn't over yet, but the audience is finally catching glimpses of the script, and Joe Rogan is only just warming up. If you want more takes like this, make sure to subscribe to East Unfiltered. We drop raw political news every single day. Like, share, and comment.